about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free.
Good morning and welcome to today's show. Now in today's show, I'm going to be going through creating the blog layout and the post design for the new website. And if you do want to go and check that out, all you need to do is go to jasonkruger.live. That site is actually live at the moment and it is being developed. So there are going to be things on there that still need to be updated, but you can still go and see the progress if you go to that site. So that's what I'm going to be covering today. And I'm also going to be looking at how to maybe connect the site up to YouTube using Zapier. So let's get in today's show. Hi, my name is Jason Kruger and I help people wanting to get online by teaching them what is possible with all the online marketing tech. You know, going from websites, membership sites to CRM systems and everything else in between. So that's what I'm trying to do to help people just get online and learn that different type of tech. So if that is something that does interest you and something that you might need some help with, then please look to subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell as well. And you will get notified when I next go live or when I next post a video. So as I said, in today's show, I wanted to go through creating the blog layout, the blog post layout, and then connecting it up to Zapier to try and see if I can get my YouTube videos into the blog automatically once they're posted or when I go live. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So let me share my screen with you and let's get started. So as you can see, this is the website homepage. I have gone through and made a couple of more updates. I've now got the video on there. I just need to add a thumbnail to it, but everything else is in there. And as you can see, this is a video that I actually posted yesterday. So that's already working automatically. And I've actually had to refresh this. The video that we're currently on should appear there now as well. And there we go. So if I click on that, you'll see that's us currently live. So that's all working correctly. I still need to update some of the other pages. But if I go to the blog page, you'll see at the moment it is bare. There's nothing there. One reason is I don't actually have any blog posts on the site yet. So we'll just create a dummy one today so we can then just play around with some of the layout. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go into the back end and let's just have a look. Do we have any posts here? And we don't. Normally, when you install WordPress, they do have a kind of a dummy post in there just so that you have something there to play around with. We don't at the moment. So let's just create one just so that we've got something to play with. So we're just going to put in here demo blog post. We're not going to have any categories or tags at the moment. Featured image. We're going to select one and I'm going to upload one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the thumbnail of today's video as my featured image. And then the other thing we're just going to do is we're just going to actually write some content so that we have something there. And let's publish this. So now if I go to the blog page and refresh, there we go. Now this has just been put on this page. We've got no other settings set on here. So that's why it does look a little bit of a mess. Now, because I'm using the Astra theme, there are other ways that I can style this. And I can do this by going to appearance and customize, because there are some settings in here that we can change for the blog post. So if I go to blog, and the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to go to the blog archive, because that's what this page is. It's an archive that's just going to list all our blog posts. So that's what we're going to be looking at first. Now it's already got the default widths and all that in there. But we could change this. So let's set it to 1200 pixels because that's what the rest of the site is been set to. We do want to show our featured image, and we've got the title and any blog meta, so the date, the author, all of that set to show. And the content, we don't want to have the full content, we just want to have the excerpt, and then we could change all the colors and the fonts and all that in here as well. So if I click on publish and go back and refresh, you'll see it has made some difference, not a hang of a lot. It has put it in the middle. So we can go in here and have a look at any other settings that we want to change. And at the moment, there's not much in here. We have the single post. So that's now, if I go back to this and click in here, this is what that post looks like. And as you can see, that's all centered, but the actual content isn't. And again, we could go in here and change that. So we have that as the custom. We want to show the featured image and all of that as well in here, and click on publish and refresh this. As you can see, what it has done is it's just pulled it off the edge there. It's still not quite how I would want this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click out of this, and we'll just see what other settings we have within Astra. Now, as I said before in the other videos, I have the pro version of the Astra theme installed. So if I go to Astra options, and let's see if I've activated any of the blog modules. So I have the blog pro. I haven't activated that yet. So let's activate that. And anything else we might want in here. Nothing else. So the blog pro has now been installed. So now we should have a few more options. So if I go back to customize, and this is the thing, if you don't have the pro version of the Astra theme, you will have limited abilities to actually customize the blog. So if I go into blog archive now, as you can see now, we do have a few extra options now. So at the moment, it's currently set so that the image is on the top, and we can change this. And now normally I choose this setting here so that it's on the side. We could add some space between any blog posts, the date box, we could do that. Featured image, comments. Now we have more options now to actually hide. So as before, we only had these options, but we've now got these meta options. So we could actually hide a lot of the other options. So we could hide the author, the category, and comments if we really wanted to. And we have the excerpt options now as well. So we could decide how many characters, etc. we wanted in the excerpt of our blog post. And we can also now set the featured image size. So let's change this to 300 as the width. The height, we'll leave it as auto, and just click on apply size. And post pagination, that's if you hit the limit, and I think by default WordPress sets it at 10. So once you hit 10 blog posts, it will start having the numbers or whatever, how you've set it out at the bottom, so people can then go to the other pages. So it's not just one long scroll, but you could change that if you wanted to, just to have it as an infinite scroll. And then again in here, we can then go and make a few of those other changes. So we've made these changes, and let's click on publish and go back. And we're going to go back to the actual blog. And as you can see, it has now changed this. And it does look a little bit wide, and this is because I am designing this on a 27-inch monitor. And again, you do need to have a look to see how you're going to design these, because you do want them to look good on all screen sizes, not just on a 13-inch screen, for instance, which is what I normally use. If you can make it so that it works on all screen sizes, that is much better. So we could still go in here and go through and make more changes in here. But as you can see, even though we do have a lot more options on here, we're still a bit limited. The other thing that we normally have on a blog is a sidebar. Now, when I set up the site, we said not to have any sidebars across the board. So we're going to go back to sidebar, and we're going to say, well, on archives, we do want to have a right sidebar, and we can also do this on the blog posts as well. And then click on publish. Now, if I go back in here to the blog page and refresh, we now have the sidebar. Now, the reason you might want to have a sidebar is that you want to have other navigation possibilities on your blog. You know, you do want to have things like your recent posts. You don't necessarily need to have recent comments or archives, but you do potentially want to have categories. You could also have a sign up box for your newsletter, for instance, in here, but it just allows people to be able to search more within your blog post, especially when you start creating a lot more blog posts. And if I go back and we look at the single post, we can now make more changes on here as well. But we're still going to be limited. Now, when I'm using Viva Builder to build my website and build the layouts, they have another plugin that you can buy from them, and it's their Fema plugin, which allows me to go in now and actually change what certain pages look like, and that will then be across the board. So what I want to do now is the blog page, it looks okay. You know, we can still add more things on the side here, but there's still a few things that don't look quite right to me, and we can go in here and actually go and change that completely. So Viva Builder, and I'm going to go to Fema layouts, and I'm going to add a new one. I'm going to call this blog, and I'm going to have this set as an archive page, and I'm going to add this layout. Now, when you do this, you can then choose where it's actually going to work. Now, I can just set that to, you know, post archives if I wanted to. Because I've got WooCommerce on here, we could have it as a product archive. We've got a lot of different options in here. For the moment, I'm going to select all archives, and I'm actually going to just click on publish. Now that that's published, I'm now going to click on Launch Viva Builder. I'm just going to open that in a new tab. And here we go. This is now the actual blog page that we're changing. So we could add a title here. So at the moment, when we go there, there's nothing. It's just the posts. There's not any gaps here. We could change that in the settings, but you know, we want to have a heading in here. So let's leave it as posts for now. And this is the default display for blog posts. Now, as you can see, we don't have a sidebar on here, so we could add that in if we wanted to, because we're now going to be overriding the theme defaults. So we could add that in here as well. And if I click on this, we can now have the options on how we want to lay this out. So at the moment it's set as a list. You can have it as a gallery, masonry, or columns. Now, the way that I normally have it set to is I do have it set as columns. So it looks a little bit like this. We can then also make sure that they're equal heights. So instead of them all being all over the show, depending on what's actually written, etc., we could go and say, yes, we want that to be equal height so that it all looks the same. We can adjust all the spacings and all that in here. We want to show the image. We could have it above the title or above the content. So if I did that, it looks like this, but I prefer the image to be at the top, so we want that above. You could also have a fallback image. So if you don't set a featured image in your blog post, you could have a default image that just gets displayed automatically, so that it does keep the same format. And you can then go in here and change all these settings as well. So do you want the author to be shown, the date, etc. So there's a lot of other options that you can change in here. Now if I click on save, that's there. We could then go in and add some other options. So if I click on here, the other thing that we might want to do is to actually put in some kind of sidebar. So I'm going to go into rows and I'm going to click on the column, and because we already have a column in here, I'm just going to drag this one here, so we now have a 2-column option, but I don't want it to be squashed like this, so we're going to make that smaller. But the other thing that we can now do as well is make this so that it actually does fill the full width of the page, rather than just that small section. And what that allows us to do is in here as well, for this one, is make it full width. But instead of having the it restricted to the content width, which is around the 1200 pixel mark, we could go full width. So no matter what page or what size screen you're viewing the site on, this will always stretch to the end. So let's keep it like that. We're now going to have our sidebar in here. And if I go back to modules, you'll see we've got all the normal standard modules that we can use for Viva Builder, and also the ultimate add-ons that I have installed on here. We now have this other one here called Fema modules. So this is where we can have the descriptions for the archives, the post list, which is what we're actually currently using, and all of these different kind of defaults that you can do, which are part of just a normal WordPress. That's what these are. The other thing we can do is we can actually use the WordPress widgets, and that is what normally is displayed here. So the recent posts, comments, archives, and categories, they are all just WordPress widgets. So we could go and add those in here. So we want the categories, for instance, and we can give it a different title, and have the other options like showing the post counts, etc. And if I go and add another one in here, so let's have a look. So we've got categories, and some of these are here because I have WooCommerce installed. They are showing up here as well. We want to have the search function as well, so someone could search our blog. And let's just add another one in here as well. Let's go to recent posts. So that's my blog page done. So I'm going to click on done and publish. And as I start adding more posts, this will then just get populated. So if I go back to my blog page, this is what it currently looks like. And if I refresh, it should hopefully change. And there we go. So this is now our post page that we've just created. So if I go back, we can go in here, make more changes, and then go and refresh, and then this will change as well. So now that we've got that done, the next one is actually just looking at this page, which is the post page. And yes, we've got some of the information here, but still, it doesn't look that great. And what we can do is, again, go back in here and add a new theme layout. And we're going to call this one blog post. It is a theme layout, and we're going to call this one singular. Add theme layout. And then the location. So now we're going to choose that. And if we choose all singular, what this is going to do is it's going to also do it on pages, not just on posts. And we don't want that. We just want it on the post. So we're going to click on post there. Click on publish. And we are going to launch Viva Builder. And so when you do this, it kind of gives you a default layout already. And what it does is it puts the featured image as a background image to the heading. So if you like that, you could just leave it like that, or you can go in here, go to your row settings. We're going to change this to full width, and you can go and remove that. So it's now set up as the background photo. Let's just say we want it as a color rather. We can go in here and then choose our color. So let's just choose that one for now and click on save. And if you don't like this full layout, again, you can go in here and make changes. So if I go into advanced, what they've done here is they've done a lot of padding on it. Let's just say we don't want it as big, so let's roughly halve it. Let's just do an 80 and 80 and click on save. So now we're starting to make those changes. And we have our content in here, and we have the author box in here as well. So if you have filled in the stuff for the author in your user profile, it will be displayed in here. You got your comments, and again, you can go in here and make loads of different changes. If you wanted to add the featured image in here rather than in there, let's just click on here. Let's just have a look in the Thema modules. So we have attached images, featured image. So I can just go and drag that across, and we could put the featured image there if we wanted to. And then you have your blog post there. So if we like this layout, we can then just click on done and publish. And go back here and just refresh. And as you can see, it is now changed. As you can see, it's still got these white marks on here. So we're going to go back to this, and we're going to edit the theme out. I should have just clicked on the other one. So let's launch Viva Builder again. For some reason, it hasn't changed. It has made those, remember those changes. And as you can see here, it's got some of the padding in here. So what we could do is the right and the left. Let's take this out. See if that makes any changes. No, it doesn't. Cancel that. There we go. That's how I wanted it. So this might be set actually on the theme. So if we go in here and go to appearance, customize again. And look at the global settings, and I think it's something to do with the container, and I think it's the setting here where we've got the left and right padding for fluid. So if I remove that, it will make changes to the whole site. If I click on publish, let's just see if that has solved our issue. So if I click on refresh, nope, it wasn't that. So we can go back in here and change that. It could actually be blog post layout. We want that full stretched. And we can do that also for that. But our default layout is all of that as well. So I'm not sure why that's happening. So it can't be those, so let's have a look and see if there's other settings that we're missing around here. Because if I go and make this I think it's there. So let's have a look. Full width, no. And this is the thing, sometimes when you're playing around with these, you do need to figure out where some of these settings are and why it is doing that, because it can be a little bit frustrating. So I'm not going to waste too much more time on that. I will have to try and figure out why that is happening. So if I click on here, click on full width, it's happening on there as well. So there's definitely something that's causing it. But I will figure that out. Now, the next thing that I actually wanted to show you was something a little bit different, because I am creating a lot of these videos, and I do want a lot of these videos to appear as a blog post on my website, but I don't want to have to keep going to my YouTube channel to make all those changes. What I'm going to be looking to do is to try and automate this process a little bit. Yes, there's still going to be some manual work that needs to be done, because I'm going to have to get the transcript from another system into the blog post, but at least the video and all that will be there. So it's a reminder that I actually have to get that done. And with some of the videos, especially some of the explainer videos, I'm not going to have the full transcript on there because it won't make sense. It's going to be like a lot of the informational type videos where I'll be able to do the transcript and turn that into a proper blog post. But these types of explainer videos, I will probably have more of a description around it and some other bits and pieces around it. So it'll be slightly different, but I still want the video and the featured image and all of that to be done automatically. It just saves time. And as I said, it gives me a reminder that actually, you know, I've got to get that done. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm actually going to use Zapier and have that connected to my YouTube channel and then connect it into the site as well. But before I do that, I need to make a few adjustments to the WordPress website, because I'm going to have to add a few extra fields to do that, because I need to be able to populate the information into that. I don't want the video to go into the text area, because that's going to be for text. So I do want to make sure that it's got its own field to do that. And Xanthi, how are you? And for some reason I have got the wrong setting again for vMix Social, so it's not pulling that up. So let me make an adjustment, because again it's pulled the wrong settings up. So we've just done that, so let's hope this works. There we go, much better. So hi Xanthi, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. I have seen a lot of the videos that you have posted, and you're doing a great job on that. I kind of took a break in August with the kids around for the summer. It just took too much time and too much stress. So I kind of took that off, but I'm now back and I'm getting back into all the content creation. So getting back to this, what I need to do is create some extra fields to put some of the information in there. And this mainly for the moment, there is going to be one extra field, which is the YouTube link on there. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that now. So if I go back into the website, I've actually installed a plugin already, and it's called Toolset Types. Now, there are so many other plugins that do the same thing. There's another one called Advanced Custom Fields, I think it's called. So you could use that instead. It's just one that I've used a lot, so I know how it works. So this is the one I'm going to be using. So if I go into Toolset menu, And what's great about these types of tools is that you can actually create custom post types. So at the moment we have your normal posts on there, but you could set other ones up for podcasts, for instance. And I have done that with a client recently, where we've set up a dedicated area for her to put all her podcasts, so it doesn't get mixed up with her blog posts. So yeah, Xanthi is saying that custom fields, they can be tricky to set up, and sometimes it does take a couple of tweaks to make sure that it's working correctly. And that's why I like toolset types, because it actually does make it fairly easy to do. And the one thing with toolset types, it used to be free, but now you actually have to buy the whole bundle to get it. Luckily, many years ago, I actually bought a lifetime license with them, so I have all of those extra bits and pieces. Like I said, I've set it up for podcasts for another client, but I'm not going to create a full custom post type on here. I just want to have custom fields, because I'm going to actually add this to the actual blog posts page. So I'm going to go in here and click on custom fields. Now this is a little bit more advanced, and if you are new at working with WordPress, I wouldn't recommend diving into custom types and all that just yet, because it can be confusing, as Xanthi has said, and you just don't want to confuse yourself and kind of go down that rabbit hole. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to create a new custom field. Now, as you can see, it's asking me for custom field group, so we're just going to do that for the moment, and we're going to do it as a post field. And we're just going to call this YouTube details, and I'm just going to save the field group. And the reason you create this kind of field group is that you can group all your fields together so that they don't get lost. You've got a bit of a heading on there. So now that we've got that set up, I'm going to click on an add new field, and what I'm going to do is they give you all of these different options. Let's use it as a URL, and the field name is going to be YouTube link. And if I just click out of it, it's going to give me the field slug. It's a URL. I can just put a description in here and put the video link. We're not going to have a placeholder. Can only have one value. Validation, you could set this as required, which then means that if it's not filled out, it's always going to give you an error message. You're not going to be able to post anything without that being filled out. So I'm not going to set that as required. And I'm just going to save that. And now I have my YouTube URL. Now, as you can see at the moment, it appears on all content. So I could go in here and edit this, because I don't want it on pages. I don't want it on all of these. The only thing that I actually wanted to appear on is posts. And without doing this, it will then start appearing on all of these other field groups, or these other post types. And then it just becomes confusing, because it doesn't really belong there. The only thing I want it on is posts. So I'm just going to click on apply now. And again, we'll just save this. So now if I go to my posts and I click on all posts, and let's just click on this demo one. There's the content of our demo, but as you can see down here, there's now a YouTube link. So I could go now to YouTube, put a link in here, and that'll be it. but it won't actually display on our blog post because we haven't actually said where it should appear. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out of this now, and we're going to go back to our design of our blog post. So again, go back into the Fema layouts, and on the blog post one, we're going to click on Viva Builder. And that's our design. And because I'm going to use a video, I don't need to have this featured image in here. So I'm going to remove that. But what I can now put in its place is a video. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use one of the modules here from the Ultimate Add-ons plugin. And if I go to video, we can add it in here. And the type here is going to be YouTube. Now the link, we don't want this link in here because we want it to have the link of whatever we're going to put in there. So now that I've installed the toolset types plugin, I now have this other option in here where I can click on this and it will now give me different options. Now these are the default options. Let's just see if it will show it to me. No. If I clicked on that other link, we got YouTube link. You want the URL link. And let's just click on create the shortcode. So we've now got that shortcode in here. And we're going to click on save. So that's now going to be a video. And if I click on publish, now there won't be anything here for the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into YouTube. And I'm just going to get a link from my YouTube channel. And I'm going to get the link from the video that I posted yesterday. And we'll now test this to see if this actually works. If it doesn't, there might be some tweaking that we need to make. So if I go back to all posts, click on the demo one, and let's put this link in here. And click on update. Now, fingers crossed, if I refresh this, it should have that link in here, which I don't think it does. So the link is there. So let's have a look and see what's happening here. So we do have what we want in here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go into my client's website, because with some of these things there's a special way to write these, and I have a feeling that's what the issue is. So I'm just going to quickly go and find it in her install. And I have found it. I'm just now copying it. And it is a different type of shortcode to the one that it's placed it in. And this is the thing with all of the, when you're using custom fields, this is where the headaches come in. Yes, Xanthe, as you said, having a love-hate relationship with custom fields. Yes, I can have that as well, because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and you just got to figure it out. But when it does work, it works great, and you can, it looks good when it does. So if I go back to my screen, this link is wrong, that shortcode. So I'm just going to click on that and paste it from the client site. And as you can see, it is different. So actually, we need that part of it. And this is going to be YouTube link. So that should be the link. And now I click on done and publish. And let's go back to this one and have a go. And for some reason, it's still not working. But as you can see, that is what I'm looking to do now. I'm going to just have to troubleshoot this, because I know for a fact that that should be the link for the YouTube video. I've done that all correctly. It might even just be the link that I'm using, but that should all be correct. Now, the other thing it could be is I have been having a few problems with caching on this website for some reason, and it could also be that, because now I'm not getting that error. Oh, there we go. There we have the error. So I will have a look at that and see why that is happening, and I will update you next week when I have it working and explain what the issue was. But as you can see, this is what I'm trying to do, so that I have the video at the top here, and then I can have my content below. Now, because I've now set up those bits, we can look to get Zapier working as well while I get that issue sorted. So if I go to Zapier, and I've already started to create a Zap. Now, if you don't know what Zapier is, it's a great piece of software. It's kind of like the middleman between two different pieces of software. As long as they can connect to Zapier, it does mean you can then connect different pieces of software together to get information from one software to the other without you having to do anything. So once it's set up, it should then all be automatic, and it is a lifesaver and a time saver, because it can do all of these things for you automatically. And depending on what account you have, depends on what levels, they do have a free option, which is great. But sometimes there are some apps there that you do need to have a premium account for to connect it. So I've already connected up my YouTube channel, and the trigger in here is whenever there's a new video that's posted on my account, it's going to notify it, and then it's going to send that to WordPress. And now I need to set up what I want it to do with WordPress. So I've already connected it to the site, and as you can see, what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a new blog post. So I've set up it to create that blog post, so it could post it to any of these, but I wanted to post it to posts. The title is going to be the title that I give it in YouTube. The content, I'm going to leave that blank, because that is going to be part of the transcription excerpt. We're not going to set a password on that post. The author is going to be me, featured media. Now let's see if we can pull through a featured image. Now it looks like it's only going to be pulling through from what I already have installed on the site, which is a little bit disappointing because I was hoping that I could pull through the thumbnail from YouTube, but it doesn't seem to allow me to do that. It's just giving me that now. Actually, custom, let's see. So it does give me the thumbnail URL. So let's have a look. So it looks like we might be able to do that. So let's use that one. And we can set all of these. So the type is just going to be a standard one. Categories, I haven't got any categories set up. Status, we're going to put this as a draft. And let's just refresh the fields because I'm hoping it will pull through that I now have a custom field on there. Because if it doesn't, then that's a little bit of a pain, because I'm hoping that I can just post I might have to reset the connection and then hopefully I can figure out to do that. But if it's not, what I'll do for the moment is I'll just put it in the content. So the YouTube URL we'll put in there for now until I can sort that out. Let's make sure password is not set. Let's click on continue. And let's test. And it has now sent a post to WordPress. So if this has all worked fine, we can just turn that on. So let's go into and there we go. Now because it is test, it's created its own titles and that in there. So if I just click on edit, there we go. It's now posted the link, and in the future it will be the YouTube link. And if it doesn't put it where I want it to do, then I could just take this and copy it and then just paste it in there, and that will be sorted. Now if I go back to the post, the other thing we want to just check is the featured image, and it hasn't set a featured image. And it might just be because it didn't have an image, then it's just put a different link in there because it hasn't actually set that. So it's kind of a success. There's going to be a few things that I'm just going to have to test out. So once I do have another video to post, I'll set this to on for now. I'm going to go into it and figure out if there's a way for me to have the links to go to a custom field. Hopefully Zapier can get access to that so that I can then post that link directly in there. Same with the featured image as well, because I don't want to have to upload those all the time. And the reason I'm doing this is just, again, it's just a little time saver, because otherwise I'm always going to have to go to YouTube, get the links and all that. Whereas if it just posted directly to the site, then it's already there and I can then just see what I need to process rather than having to do it all manually. So that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, just to save time on that. So I'm hoping that you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, then please look to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you get notified when I next go live or when I next post a video. I posted a video yesterday about moving away from Google Analytics and going to an alternative called Fathom Analytics. And if you are using Google Analytics or looking to install something like that, then please go and check that video. It is on my YouTube channel. I will probably be doing a bit more of a step-by-step video on Fathom as well. So again, subscribe so that you get notified when that goes live, and there will be loads more videos. I've got a lot more ideas of what I'm going to be creating. And if you've got any questions about today's content, then please leave a comment down below and I will make sure that I answer them for you. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It will really help the channel as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this. There's still a few things that I need to go in and check to see why they're not working 100%. But when we go live next Wednesday, I should hopefully have that all sorted, have those other pages connected, because I think next week I actually am going to go and talk about some of the SEO work that I'm going to be doing on the site, as well as the analytics. So I'll show you how I install that on the site, and talk a little bit more about Fathom as well. So if that interests you, then join me next week Wednesday at 10 a.m. UK time. So I hope you've enjoyed today, and have a great weekend, and I'll see you on the next one.